For years, the fitness world has drilled this idea into our heads that what you eat around your workout is just as important as the workout itself. That's the whole world of nutrient timing. But how much of that is legit science and how much is, well, just gym lore? Let's get into it and separate the facts from the fiction.
And yeah, we're starting with the big one, that ritual you see in literally every gym, that mad dash to chug a protein shake the second your workout is done. It's almost a sacred tradition, right? But what if I told you that for a lot of us, that rush might be completely pointless? Let's find out.
This all comes down to the heart of the debate, the famous anabolic window. It's this idea that you have this teeny tiny 30-minute window of opportunity after training to really maximize your gains. So, what does the actual science have to say about this ticking clock? So, let's just be clear about what we're even talking about. The anabolic window is this idea, this theory, that for a short time after you work out, your muscles are basically like sponges. They're just ready to soak up protein and carbs to repair and grow. The old school thinking was that this window is super short and super critical. If you miss it, you miss out on gains. But is that actually true? Okay, so this is where things get really interesting. The old idea of a frantic 30-minute rush is pretty much out. The reality, based on the research, is way more flexible. We now know that anabolic window is actually several hours long. And here's the absolute kicker. How quickly you need to refuel depends almost completely on what you ate before you even picked up a weight. Yeah, you heard that right. It turns out the biggest factor for your post-workout nutrition is your pre-workout nutrition. Kind of weird, huh? It's all about the pre-wool. What you eat before you train is what really sets the stage for everything that comes after. So why does that pre-workout matter so much? Well, a good pre-workout meal doesn't just vanish. One study showed that having just 20 grams of whey protein before a workout kept amino acids, the building blocks of muscle, flowing to the muscles for up to 3 hours after the workout was over. That meal is still working hard for you long after your last set, basically holding that window wide open. So what does all this mean for you, personally? It's all about context. If you're someone who trains first thing in the morning, completely fasted, then yeah, that immediate post-workout meal is a big deal. You need it to flip the switch from muscle breakdown to muscle building. But if you had a solid meal an hour or two before you trained, you can chill out. The total time between your pre- and post-workout meals can easily be 3 to 4 hours. No rush. All right, so the protein window is way bigger than we thought. But there's another piece to this timing puzzle that almost nobody talks about: magnesium. It's truly the unsung hero of recovery. And in this case, timing might be way more important than we realize. To really get its impact, you have to look at the evidence. So a huge systematic review from the National Institutes of Health back in 2024 started by looking at a massive pool of research. I'm talking over 1,200 scientific articles just on magnesium and muscle soreness. That alone tells you there's a lot of interest here. But this is where it gets really powerful. The scientists had incredibly strict standards. They filtered out all the noise, all the weak studies, and they boiled that huge number all the way down to just four high-quality studies. That means their final conclusion isn't just a guess. It's based on a really rigorous look at the absolute best evidence we have. And what was that conclusion? Well, this quote pretty much says it all. Magnesium wasn't just some minor helper. It actively reduced muscle soreness, it improved performance, and it even helped protect against muscle damage. For anyone who trains hard, that is a massive deal. Okay, so we've busted the protein myth, and we've uncovered the secret power of magnesium. So now, let's just pull it all together into a simple, easy-to-follow playbook for smarter nutrient timing. Here it is, side by side. For protein, your goal is muscle growth, and the rule is simple: be flexible. Aim for that big 3 to 4 hour window between your pre- and post-workout meals. But for magnesium, where the goal is all about cutting down on soreness, the timing is more specific. You want to take it about 2 hours before you train to really get those protective effects. So you want to put this into practice? Here's a simple 3-step protocol based on the research. First, if you're active, you might need about 10 to 20% more magnesium every day than sedentary folks. Second, go for a capsule form. Magnesium citrate is a great option because it's highly bioavailable, which just means your body can absorb and use it really easily. And third, the key timing part. Take it about 2 hours before you train. That's the sweet spot. So after all this talk about windows and timing and protocols, let's just zoom out for a second and focus on what really, really matters. There's a golden rule that sits on top of all of this. And it's this: consistency is way more important than chronology. Knowing you've got a flexible 4-hour protein window or that magnesium works best pre-workout,
That's cool, that can give you a little edge, but those are just optimizations. The real foundation, the thing that actually matters, is the quality of your diet throughout the whole day. Hitting your total protein and nutrient goals is so much more important than stressing about the clock.
So, the real takeaway is a question for you to think about. Are you focusing on these tiny, stressful details, or are you building sustainable, healthy habits that are going to support you for the long haul? Because ultimately, that's where the real progress is made.